And we are live. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brandi,
I am Jenn.
and this is the Unruly Duo, episode 3. Should we start with the good news first or the heavy stuff?
I mean, I'm sure everyone could use some good news right about now.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with that, and maybe we'll bookend it. We'll start with some good news. We'll remind everybody because we're going to dive into some deeper stuff. So we'll remind everybody of the fun stuff at the end. And the good news is,
You know what that's called, right?
bookending.
It's called a shit sandwich.
Oh,
It's where there's like something good on top, there's shit in the middle, and there's something good on the bottom. So,
well,
you're welcome.
guess who just came up with the podcast title for this episode? Hi, everybody, and welcome to a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
So the good news is I made a story forever ago on Instagram saying, should I make t-shirts that say fuck that guy, based on conversations I was having previous episodes of the podcast, and it was resounding 100 whoever it was 100% yes, absolutely. And we made them. They come in different colors. We've got 2 different styles. We have men's and women's. We will be putting the link down below, but yeah, I personally am very excited to come to life.
Yeah, I mean, because everybody knows a guy,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
We all know that guy.
Right. And I would say guy even here is gender neutral.
Totally.
Every single person I talked to had one person, male or female, in their life that said something that was just so like discouraging or negative or just really kind of shut them down, that they carried. We all have somebody who said something a lot of times when we were younger that we carried, that they carried, that she carried, that I carried for years. And fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Whoever they are.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah. So, and to be honest, the good stuff also kind of leads into our topic.
Yeah.
And this is something, the world doesn't feel great right now. And this is kind of a lot of what we're going to talk about today. And Jenn specifically is going to talk about today, kind of mirrors some events that are happening in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, things feel heavy today. I'm sure that a lot of people are feeling that exact same energy too. I mean, you can't really get away from it right now. But yeah, I mean, for me, everything that's going on in the world right now, what we're actually seeing is what some people are calling a narcissist collapse. Right? Because we're all becoming more aware of the tactics, the textbook that they use, because it's all the same.
Always.
It's power, it's control, and manipulation. And, we're all learning also that we're being gaslit by the system, right? We're being told that what we're seeing is not real.
Like literally people are coming on, people in positions of power coming on the news and saying that's not what happened. And
Yeah.
There's literally a video.
Right. We saw it from every angle.
Well, unfortunately, we saw, yeah.
So it's like, and for a long time, people didn't even really understand what gaslighting meant. A lot of people thought gaslighting was just you're upsetting someone, like you're like setting a fire. That's not what gaslighting
No,
is.
not at all.
Gaslighting is a term that came from a movie. I forget what its name. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
I don't.
Okay, so it came in this movie. I don't know. It's an old movie from like the 60s or 70s, and it was about this man who he would basically torture his wife. He would do things like turn off the light. And she's like, "Why did you turn off the light?" He goes, "I didn't turn off the light."
Oh,
Right?
yes.
Or
So
he would
I
do
think it
things-
was an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think that's, we'll find it. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Anyways, that's where the term gaslighting came from. It's basically telling someone that their reality and what is happening to them that what they're seeing and feeling and experiencing is not real. It's doing something to someone or saying something to someone and then going back and saying, "I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that."
Yeah.
That is what
Yep.
gaslighting is. And I think,
Yep.
you know, we're starting to understand these terms and not only understand them, but recognize them,
Yeah.
which is, you know, the first phase of
Yep. Of the what is
of
it? The
the
collapse,
collapse.
the
Yes.
narcissistic collapse.
Yes.
Yep.
We're starting to see things for what they truly are. And sadly, most of these people that are, using power and control and manipulation and gaslighting, um, and they're leading our communities, sadly.
Mhm.
And we listen to them because they're loud and they're confident, right? And we talked about this, I think, in the last episode about like hive mentality,
Oh,
group
yep.
think, right? Because a lot of people are in these groups and you want to be accepted and you don't want to be isolated, right? You don't want to go against the pack. It's dangerous,
It
right?
and that is like at a that is like in our DNA. We are pack animals.
Yeah.
It is dangerous to be alone and isolated out of the group.
Hmm.
So it's an instinctual thing. The same way my dogs have instincts about running in their pack and pack leadership and pack hierarchy. We maybe more in complex ways, but we also have those things. So a lot of times we don't even realize because it's such an instinctual in like inbred into our sort of how the human mind and body works that we don't even realize that that's what we're doing. We don't pause to think about like, why am I just taking this person's word?
Right.
Because they have a title and they're the leader of this
Hmm.
insert system here.
Right. Yeah. And look where it's gotten us.
Mhm.
Because we took someone's word for what it was, words,
Mm.
right? And when you start to recognize the patterns aren't in the words. Although the words play a part, the patterns are in the
Oh,
actions.
100%.
Does the person's actions align with the words that they're saying?
Right.
Right? And, that's kind of a telltale sign how to spot a manipulator. But, for me personally, witnessing all this and just seeing, you know, the gaslighting, um, the the incident itself, right?
Yeah.
Of this man destroying this woman's not just her life, but her wife, or was it her girlfriend?
No, it's her wife,
Her
her
wife,
child.
her child's life, her entire family's life. And for people to sit there and mock this, defend it, right? Defend this man, um, is something not only that I have experienced, am experiencing, have experienced for years, but it's something that survivors of domestic abuse
Yeah.
have to go through every single day. Because most of the time, these powerful men that are harming people in horrific ways, it's not an isolated incident.
No.
And
No, no, no,
you know what I mean? And this was probably not his first time to
no.
to off someone, right? We just haven't we just don't haven't seen it
Right.
yet. Um, but and that's why it's sitting really heavy on me because over the past 7 months, I was being stalked and harassed and tortured through my devices. All my money was stolen. I lost my business. I lost my home. These people were able to turn the community against me. They were able to turn my family against me. And people in the community participated. My family participated. And the the complexity of the situation was so insane, right? Because and that's intentional, right? And that's what they're doing on the news right now. They're gonna flood everybody with they're gonna bombard you right? To where we just kind of like, we can't take it anymore.
Right, turn it off.
Just turn it off,
Yep.
right? And so I wrote a Substack about this, and I posted a video in there talking about the very specific phases of gang stalking. And it's like to a T. It's textbook. What happened to me. And the person that sent me that video is also a woman in the jiu-jitsu community who had the exact same thing happen to her
Mhm.
that happened to me at the exact same time, actually. The whole like spring, summer, fall of
Wow.
this year was
Wow.
happening at the exact same time. And no one believed her. No one believed me. People were watching, but they weren't offering any kind of support. They were actually telling me that I needed to be locked up, that I needed to
Yep.
be uh, institutionalized,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
People were calling 911 on me, making me do mental health checks, which I passed with ease because I was very centered, grounded in my reality. I was destabilized, yes, but I was not in need of psychiatric care. And at one point, I was locked out of my email, my social media. I couldn't use my
Bank.
phones, my bank account. I couldn't use my computer. And people think that like this is you have to be a like a genius
Like an
hacker.
IT guy. Like, you have
No,
to know.
you can go to Walmart, you can buy this little thing called a raspberry or a stingray, and you can throw it in someone's yard, throw it up on their roof, right? Anywhere within what I think it's like
150 feet.
150 feet of your home. And they can control everything. They can hack into your computer, they can hack
Wi
into your phone, they can hack into your Wi Fi, and they can steal all of your passwords. And that's what happened to me. But before that, right, this has been going on for years. That's what people don't understand. People had been planted into my life to spy on me, learn my behavior, learn my patterns, right? They knew exactly who I was going to turn to when all of this happened. So that's, and by
didn't expect me to show up.
they did not. They didn't expect that little monkey wrench. They also didn't expect me to, um, you know, I threw a monkey wrench in there too. If you read my blog, you'll
Yep.
you can learn more about the story, but we're not talking about all that today. Um, by the time that I realized what was going on, I was already destabilized.
Yeah.
I was already locked
Yes.
out of my accounts.
Yep.
I was getting pop up, pop up, pop up. Couldn't make phone calls. Couldn't make text messages. I'm completely isolated. Right? People are surrounding my home. Um, but people started to break into my home minutes after I would walk out the door. And the only reason I was able to find that out was because every time my device would get hacked, I would get a new one. And I, at the time, knew nothing about any of this stuff, never heard of anything like this. And so, as soon as I get another phone, it was immediately hacked.
Mhm.
Immediately. And so I ended up with like 5 phones at this time. And so I started to leave my phones around the house just on record, right? I didn't have them out in the open where they could see them. Obviously, they would,
Right. Right.
and I couldn't have an actual security camera because they would hack it. Um,
All security cameras, unless you pay a lot of money for, like, the official CCTV stuff that
CCTV.
you see in, like, Walmart or whatever, are Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
They're based off of Wi-Fi. For Wi-Fi's hacked, having a security camera, because you can hack the Wi-Fi. So
Yeah. Anything Wi-Fi, they can hack it. There's also a lot of people understanding that their Ring cameras can be hacked into, women especially. Yeah. It's yeah,
so gross.
right. Uh, so I set these phones around the house And I leave, and then they come into my home minutes, less than 2 minutes after I walk out my door. That's how close these people are monitoring me. And so imagine just all of this happening, just finding all this out, right? And then once I figure out that they have been breaking into my home, I'm terrified to leave. Are they poisoning my food? What are they doing? Are they setting up cameras? What are they doing
Right.
in my home?
Right.
Because I could hear them tinkering with stuff. I could hear them moving things. Even on one recording, they closed the curtains, and then I had a phone in my closet, and the phone fell, which means they were in my closet, right? And so I'm like, I don't know what they were doing. And so when I started to find out that they were breaking into my home, I didn't wanna leave, and I did not leave my house for 2 days. I did not walk out that door. And then I started getting threatening phone calls from a man who was connected to the people who were doing this. He was trying to bait me out of my home, and, I was terrified. Like, that at that point, I'm like, "This is they're trying to kill me." And so that's when I fled my home. And during all of this, and I it would take me hours to sit here and just
Yeah.
actually tell you all what I had to go through and the things that they actually did to me. Because like I said, this has been going on for years. And in the beginning, you're not going to know what's happening, and it's intentional. It's purposely done that way. There is an actual textbook that these people are reading, learning, and studying, that teaches them how to gang stalk someone. And so this has been happening to people for years.
Mhm.
And they're now called targeted individuals, right? And so as all this is happening, I'm, you know, in the beginning I couldn't get onto social media or anything like that. And my emails, nothing. And so finally, I was able to get into my Substack. That was like the first time that I was able to get out in it, almost 2 weeks
Mm.
of, and it's like I am screaming for help through Substack. And then I finally got back into my social media. People are calling me crazy. They're telling me to get help. My family's trying to have me arrested. My and institutionalized, right? And nobody came to help me besides Brandi. Now there were other people that helped in the
In the
in
ways
ways
that
that they
they
could.
right. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want to take away from the people that I
Yes.
have had. The people closest to me, my inner circle, they just don't happen to be next to me, so I can tell you guys, the things that they've done for me.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, it's this what happened to me, and the way that I was treated by my community, and just the
In general,
in
like,
general.
I don't think a lot of the people leaving comments were necessarily part of any particular community. I
They
think
were
that just in general, like,
right. But also, I didn't get any comments from my community saying, "Jen, are you okay? What can we do to help? You're not alone in this. I'm here for you. What you need?" Like, even if it wasn't like monetary, like, I got no support. But during that time, right, it looks like I am unstable, because that it's in the handbook, in the textbook, right? This is they feed off of it. They planned this. They knew this was going to happen, and everybody played right into their hands. And I was dismissed. I was gaslit. People told me this isn't real. They didn't believe me. They thought I was making it up. Like, how? I mean, I would have to be a super genius to like come up with such a like.
it's a
I
pretty
don't.
complex
I'm.
story for
I'm.
you to come
I
up with on
mean,
your own,
and
you know?
yeah, and not only that, but be consistent, because that's the thing about manipulators and liars. They're not consistent,
Right.
right?
Your story hasn't changed.
Their
It's
story.
never changed. The story you told when you were at your lowest, most disabled, like, you've run out of resources, like, you don't know what else to do, is the same story you're telling now. It's the same story you told when it first started.
Yeah.
Like, it has not changed.
No, because that is what happened to me. And, and when I got to Brandi, like, I had lost 15 pounds the first month that, this all happened. I stopped eating, I stopped sleeping. I mean, there were days where I was up for 36 hours at a time,
Yep.
because I'm either trying to get into my accounts, I'm trying to gather evidence, and it was a 24-hour a day attack on my phones. And, it's like it forced me to be hyper vigilant. It forced me to be in survival mode, right? And so I lost a ton of weight. I'm terrified. I'm running for my life. No one believes me. People are betraying me. People are distancing themselves from me. And I'm at my just absolute
You
lowest.
And I think a couple points that I would like to say to that. Um, I think the reason you managed to be on your own for so long is because you had enough internal resources. By the time you got to me, you'd had plenty of internal resources. You burnt them
Bro, yeah.
right down, right down to the last. You used every internal,
Everything I
external,
had.
everything you
I
had.
did. You're right.
I would also like to point out a couple things because I can already hear people saying, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? So Jen filed a police report immediately. It took what, 2 weeks before somebody would even get back to you?
Mhm. And
Even
they actually sent it to the blue collar,
sent it to the
department
wrong place.
first. They
Okay.
sent it to the wrong place first. That was the first 2 weeks. Then I had to wait another 2
Right.
weeks, after that just to speak with someone
Yes.
about it.
Right.
Um,
And initially they didn't take you very seriously, did they?
they did not.
It took part of the reason she's up at all hours trying to gather information is because she had to put a book of information together to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So that's number one. So, okay, she filed a police report. She wasn't taken seriously. She repeatedly contacted them. It took weeks to get somebody to pay attention to her. She went to I'm not going to name the institution. People will guess it's in the place that she lived. It was like for women's help. They help
So
women in domestic violence primarily, right?
Mhm.
So they provide housing, food, I think,
Mhm.
clothing, security. They'll get you a
Legal
phone,
aid.
legal aid.
Yeah.
They turned her away
Mhm.
because she was not fleeing a physically domestic violent situation. She looked into once her funds started running dry because her bank account got hacked. She's not able to work during this time. She looked into free, places that provide help with housing assistance. No phone calls not returned. She looked into free legal aid. Phone calls not returned.
I
So
was also told, like, legal aid services and housing, they said, "We just don't have the
right.
resources right now."
Right. Right. And that's a really good point. She's not being ignored because these are crappy institutions. Institutions like this that are meant to help people in their most desperate need are also the least funded
Mhm.
because why give a crap about somebody
People who
who's
need
not
it.
right. So legal services, housing service, etc. They did not have the bandwidth and money and resources to support her. Okay. So what do you do? What do you do, fellow human, if you are being locked out of the ways that we contact with people now? We as a society don't go to a landline or our neighbor's house or whatever and talk to people. We communicate. A lot of us don't live near a family. A lot of us don't live near our friends. We communicate via technology. What happens if you can't use your technology and you can't trust your technology because you have proof that it's being hacked? What happens if you do all the steps and you go to all the services and they either turn you away or they don't have the resources to help you? What do you do? Well, apparently 200,000 people, or it's 200,000 views, just sat and watched it fucking happen and
It's like
did it
240,000 views.
and either didn't say anything or told her she was crazy. And again, we're putting asterisks around that. There's plenty of people, real people, friends of Jen, reached out to her.
I would say maybe 10
reached out to me on behalf of you. There's several people who reached out to me saying, how is she doing? I haven't heard from her. What can we do? I did this on her behalf, etc.
Yes.
We are not talking to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Please know that
We are not.
there are
Yes.
more. Yes. I actually have a support system that they were not prepared for.
Yes.
And that is why I'm here. If I did not have that support system in place, I would not be here. I would not be here.
And I think the point that we would like to talk about is, as you're seeing in the news, which we've alluded to, but I just want to say the name out loud. One of the things that kicked this off was the outright murder of Renee Good, and how that is being treated, how she is being painted by the perpetrators and the systems that support them
As an aggressor. Right.
that same process was happening
To me.
to Jenn
Mhm.
in slightly different circumstances. Yeah. Okay.
Fading out.
Yes. Sorry about that. This one's gonna look a little wonky. And we want to talk about how prevalent it is, right? We want to talk about how prevalent this is. It's not just a story that you see on a large scale. It's also personal stories. That's happening to our neighbors, to our friends.
Yeah. To domestic violence survivors. Just, survivors of just violence in general.
Mhm.
Right. We end up alone and isolated and fending for ourselves. And that's why you see so many homeless people.
Yeah.
That's why you see so many drug addicts and alcoholics and people taking their lives, is because they're left alone, isolated to fend for themselves. While you see these, you know, perpetrators in power, not only getting paid, but getting praised, right?
Yeah.
For, you know, their service to the community. And when I say that, that is you can group so many people into that category.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Like
it's so many systems. It's all systems.
it's all systems. They take advantage of all of it, right?
So yes, because it's across all systems.
Yes. Yeah, it's across all systems. And I don't think that people understand how they are contributing to the harm that's being done
Yes.
to
Yes.
not only people like Renee, but people like me and all of the other survivors, by one, dismissing people when they speak without even trying to understand or see things from their point of view. Like, oh, wait, what if, what if she's telling the truth?
Right.
Right. And no one gave me that benefit of the doubt. Right. But then you have somebody over here saying that I'm having a mental health crisis. Oh, yeah, she's just having a mental health crisis, right? That was the majority of the people, and how they reacted to me. And so, with all this going on in the news cycle, and I usually don't watch the news. I threw my TV out in 2020. I stay up to date with things, but I don't let it uh engulf me.
Yep.
Right. I don't let it affect me. Most of the time I can just, look at it from a detached
Yep.
state. Right. This is different.
Hit a little closer. And it's a horrendous tragedy,
Yeah.
even if you don't have any
Yeah.
sort of personal connection. But then when you start seeing similarities to
Yeah.
what
It's
you
like,
have also lived, then it becomes
yeah,
a lot harder.
because I'm seeing it on such a large scale.
Yeah.
But it trickles down. That's what we don't
It's
understand.
prevalent across all
We
systems.
we want to blame this person and this person up there. we are the one we're the ones that are contributing to this. That's what people don't understand. We're contributing to things like this happening, And we, as people, need to start taking accountability for that, because everybody wants to argue with each other. They don't want to listen to each other. They don't want to validate each other's reality. And it's like we're just spinning our wheels.
Right. Not getting anywhere.
Yeah, until somebody gets shot in the face. Right. And it's like, I
Oh,
hate saying that,
no,
but it's like
it's
every time you hear it, like you should be shocked, because you can't, we can't keep ignoring why this is happening.
and I think for me, here's what I think from a human psychological viewpoint is no one likes to see vulnerability because it reminds us of our own, and vulnerability is really uncomfortable. Think how many times you've heard someone say, or maybe you've thought when you, if you, it's not the best example, but if you see a homeless person, oh, well, they must have, you know, why aren't they doing this, and
Drug
this?
addict,
Yeah,
lazy.
they must have done this. They must have done something really bad to get into this situation. Why aren't they doing this, and this to get themselves out of it? The reason we put blame on the victims is because part of us knows, and part of us knows that they were vulnerable. They were in a situation they couldn't control. Something really terrible happened to them. And that could be us too, because we are also human, and we know deep down that we're vulnerable, and we don't like that feeling, which is why we try a whole lot of times to control our environments. I know I'm a recovering control freak and people pleaser because I don't like vulnerability. None of us do, nor should, right? Like, again, we're pack animals. To be vulnerable is bad. That is wired into our DNA. But I think it can be really helpful in turning things around if we know that about ourselves and we look at that when we feel those reactions and say, this person is vulnerable and it's making me uncomfortable. I don't want to look. I don't want to think about this maybe happening to me. So it's making me uncomfortable. And I am choosing to look away, or I'm choosing to not say anything, or I'm choosing to not contribute, or I'm choosing to put blame on this person. And the way we get out of it, to Jen's point, is we start believing people when they tell us something is happening to us, having conversations and being open to that instead of shunning, instead of not contributing, instead of, s- you know, your views going up, but
Yeah, engagement.
engagement, and, a whole bunch of people watching you in real time struggle and suffer, but not 99.9%, not doing anything to help, saying anything to help, contributing in some way, financial, mental, spiritual, emotional,
Just
and
yeah.
or just flat out saying like you're just crazy.
Yeah. She's just, and just like throw it out the window. Like, she's just crazy. No, there's most of the time, uh, there's complexity to not only each of us, but
Yeah,
to people's stories and how they end up in places that they're at.
yeah.
And if you're not careful and you participate in this group think, right?
Mhm.
Um, it can lead you to places that you are vulnerable to being manipulated. And that is kind of the vicious cycle.
So you actually end up creating more vulnerability for yourself by trying to control, by trying to not look, by
Right.
trying to just do the party line, by
Yeah, because
trying
if
to
we're
just
like,
go with the high thing. You actually create more
like,
vulnerability. Yep.
exactly. It's just you. We're just spinning our wheels,
Yep.
right? And I made a video about this earlier, but it's like I the what happened to me. The smear campaign ran so deep. It's so deep. It was so secretive and it was so subtle, but it took years, right? And I felt it. I felt when people were distant. I felt when people stopped talking. I felt when people, nobody wants to hire me for seminars and so on and so forth. Like I already knew.
This was going back to last week when we were talking about when you're trying to make yourself fit into a box.
Correct.
And then, yeah,
I'm not that person. I'm not that person. I'm not who they say they are. It's like you're trying to like prove and prove and prove. Like nobody cares. They're not listening. They're gonna listen to um the person with the power,
yeah,
right? Without second guessing it, without giving it a second thought. And you know, I stayed silent for
you did.
years,
You did.
years leading up to this. And what I noticed, so when all this was happening, and I got to a point where I was just kind of like, fuck everything. Like everything was absurd to me because I'm like, this world is awful. Like
Mhm.
fuck you, fuck everyone. And like I was so angry and I had
Understandably.
every right to
I
be.
mean,
And I honestly I probably should have been more angry, right? I really should have.
I
But
do remember a couple times going, like, how are you being calm about this? There's some new piece of information, and you're like, I'm way further down this path than you are. You know, like
I,
at this point,
yeah, because
I would be upset. She would be calming me down. Like,
yeah, because like this is not my first rodeo. I've
right.
been dealing with these people my entire life. I was born into this. And you know, that's why I wrote a book about it.
Mhm.
People still did not believe me. They still didn't want to listen to me, right? And so uh the people that were watching, because when I was going through it, when I was angry and I looked like I had a mental illness, like I was having a mental breakdown, right? People loved it. They like ate it up. They're like, popcorn, they're in their group chats, they're mocking, making fun of me, right? I know how groups work. And so it does not, like I said, it's not my first rodeo. But once I began to stabilize and once I was able to prove that was what was happening to me was real, people got quiet and they stopped watching. And I believe the reason why you stopped watching was because you participated in what happened to me. Okay? And that's okay. That's okay. Because I understand how extremely manipulative these people are. And I've been manipulated by them my whole life. So I understand, right?
Mhm.
That does not mean that it's too late to take accountability for your participation, for the harm that you've done to me or others in similar situations, right? We have to start thinking from a solution
I agree.
based
100%.
um, paradigm. Yes, because it's like we run into problems with each other and then we separate and it's like, no, 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 like,
Right.
and then, it's like it didn't happen, out of sight, out of mind. And I get it. So protect your peace or whatever.
And again, we don't like our own feelings of vulnerability. We are going to run anytime. That is
Yes.
our instinct to run anytime you see vulnerability shown by anybody else because it reminds you of your own. And again, it is not wrong to understand that vulnerability can be unsafe.
Right. It can be.
It absolutely can be.
Hmm.
But we are creating more vulnerability for ourselves by not looking at somebody else's, by not talking to other people, by just assuming a leader has our best interest, by just assuming the party line, by
Yeah.
watching and with your popcorn or whatever. And to
Yeah.
your point, like if you want to be less vulnerable and you want to be believed and you want integrity, then you have to extend that and be willing to be part of a community and to be talking to people.
Yeah.
And
You have to participate. If you want to see change in this world,
yeah,
you have to participate in that change. We can't just sit at home behind our screens in our
hope
group
somebody
chats.
hope somebody else does it.
Yeah. And hope that somebody else is going to come save us and fix all our problems because look where that has gotten us. You know what I mean? Like we have to be active participants in our communities by helping each other. And a lot of times that comes with taking accountability because how are we supposed to come back together? Because we're so separated right now. We all have something to take accountability for. The way we treated someone, something we said, you
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
100%.
We all,
Oh, absolutely. Neither one of us are sitting on
no,
some pedestal going, well, we have it all. Like I have to.
absolutely not.
I've been married for almost 20 years. My husband and I routinely have to, because somebody's tired, didn't sleep well. We still have to take accountability. Well, sorry, I snapped. You've had to take accountability to people
Yeah.
in your
Well,
life. I
sorry.
think
I'm trying not to sneeze. I don't want to sneeze on you. Hold on.
it's okay. We can
Okay.
get this right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, so you've had to take accountability with people in your life where you maybe said or done something that you were not very proud of. I have as well.
Yeah.
And we will continue. That will continue to happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully less as we get older and wiser and understand and learn what accountability feels like. But
hmm I mean,
that is life. That is human life.
that's life. That's how you build healthy relationships, and that's how you build community. Like,
Real community.
yes, real community. Like,
That's actually communing together, that's actually
right,
lifting each other up, supporting each other, not just a whole bunch of people that gather to pay attention to the leader or
right.
to fall on the
No.
party line or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, and that's how you grow, right? Because if everybody's just fighting, they're just arguing, they're just,
We're
not
turning
listening.
away.
Yeah. Or they turn away. It's like, where's the, we're not going to grow that way as a society. So it's like, if you're sick of seeing things like what happened to Renee on
What
your
happened?
screens,
Yeah, to what happened to you?
yeah, to what happened to me, to what happened to probably somebody that you know personally,
Yep.
right? Because what happened to me is not unique. I'm not special. You know what I mean? Like, this has happened to millions of people being cyber stalked and harassed. They are making support groups for it now. That's how many people this has happened to. And so, yes, if we want to start seeing growth in our world and change, we're going to have to, one, start listening, right? Stop blindly following people and start to think for ourselves. And in order to do that, you have to separate yourself from people sometimes, right? And that could be temporarily. It doesn't have to be like,
It also doesn't have to be like, look at me burning this place to the ground. It could be
yeah,
reaching out to somebody and just saying,
ask
hey,
them a
I'd like to
question.
get to know you better. Hey, I heard this and I seems like you're having a hard time. Is
Right.
there anything,
Mhm.
I'm here if you want an ear or something like that. I mean,
Right. Or if you hear something about someone, and being like, oh, wow, and just believing it before you repeat it. Okay. You might hear something. Maybe you don't investigate it, right? But if you're not going to investigate it and you're not going to ask that person about it and you're not going to look any further, don't repeat it. You know what I mean? Because if it is a smear campaign, if this person is trying to harm someone, you are an accomplice.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will just say this, like, I hope nothing ever happens to anybody what has happened to
I don't wish
Jenn.
shit on anyone.
I hope it doesn't happen to me. I hope it doesn't happen to you. I hope it ends for her. I The best way we keep this stuff from happening to us, the reason that legislation has started, support groups have started, we're seeing new technology, the thing you sent me about the phone,
Hmm.
that is because people started talking about it, then getting together and sharing
And
resources
reporting
and
it more.
it's reporting it more, supporting each other more. That is the way we as individuals become most vulnerable. So God forbid we are in any situation. It doesn't have to necessarily be a cyber situation. Loss of a job, loss of a home, death in the family, etc., is by being the person. If you want the community to support you, you have to be there in the community supporting.
Mhm.
I mean, that's really the bottom line.
Right.
And I'll say this, Jen, you don't know I'm going to say this, but Jen doesn't toot her own horn very often. I have, we've known each other personally not very long, but we've been following each other on social media for, we estimated like 15 years.
Mhm.
And one of the things that it always impressed me about you is you were always trying to better yourself and you were always giving to this community. It wasn't a community I was even part of or necessarily had interest in. I saw you, especially when you started talking about your past and some of the things you went through, and your motivation was so what happened to you didn't happen to somebody else. You were always giving into this community because you found value in it.
Right.
I have always seen you do that.
Thank you.
Um, and I think that is an example of how we all show up in our own communities is we give into what we hope the community to be.
Right. Yeah. And I really expected because, I have given the last 17 years of my life to the jujitsu community. I've 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 lived for it, right? And
That was apparent. It was very apparent.
I made it my purpose, and it all started with because I wanted women to feel what I felt when I was able to um, transmute some of the trauma that I
Mhm.
had gone through, and how it built my confidence. And you know, I could have done way easier things. I could have stayed in the strip club and made way more money.
You could have not, you could have
Way
not
more
been,
money.
you could have not gone through all the years of training it took to become one of single digit black belt women in this
Right.
state.
I really, in the beginning when it all happened, one, I didn't expect it to stretch on this long. I did not expect for people not to believe me. I didn't expect for the lack of support from the community, and so there's just people don't understand like the compounded grief that I'm actually dealing with, and I'm still contributing. I'm still working. I'm still going, right? I'm actively participating in, you know, helping people like me because very few people have helped me in my life. And I've sat back and watched people.
You don't want people to feel what you felt.
I do not correct.
You don't.
Yes.
Yes, we've talked. Yeah.
And the people that, they have a safety net, they have something to fall back on, and they've always had that. They don't understand what it's like, and they think that, oh, well, they're here, like this person should be here too. Well, you started here. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm starting way back here, like down here, and then I would get here, and then I have to go back down, and here, and go back
Yeah.
down. And, I'm back here again, and I'm going back up again, and it's like, people just they don't recognize who I am because they can't see past what they've heard about me. That's it.
If somebody,
Except for the people like Brandi, the people who actually do see me. There are a lot of people who see me because I'm a reflection of who they are.
um, if somebody was like, you know what, you're right, and I want to reach out to you, but I don't think you'll. Would
Oh,
you
I,
be?
I would, I would, I would have, I would gladly accept an olive branch. Um,
Actually, that just we have an example of that. You and another woman. I won't name her because I don't know if she. You guys had a reason to dislike each other and block each other.
mhm.
Uh,
What a reason to be enemies.
yes, that's a much better way. They had a reason to be enemies. Um, and you guys connected,
Mhm.
and now there's this lovely friendship and support. She's another person in your camp.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and we yes, and this was, well, without saying too much, we were friends, right? Something happened, we separated, right?
And
Uh
kind of a big something, like
it was a big it was
it
big.
was like a betrayal kind of
It
thing.
was a betrayal.
Right.
Um but I was able to just see the situation for what it was because I can understand sometimes why people do the things that they do because I understand they're also being manipulated by
Yeah.
things. And this is connected to,
The overarching situation that we're talking about.
yeah. And so, I know that if you believed the smear campaign, like I don't hate you. I um don't want to seek revenge on anyone, right? I would love to mend, that bridge or whatever you wanna call it. Like, I I cut people off for my protection, right? If you're gonna be on that side, you can, you know
Right. You can't
you
be around somebody you can't be around somebody who actively
Right,
is disparaging you, being negative about you, doesn't respect you.
right. But yes, anybody who maybe didn't believe me in the beginning, believed the smear campaign, even participated in it, I am absolutely willing to. And we're not going to be best friends probably, but if you want to come to me and us talk and establish some kind of, I don't know, closure, if I'm totally open to that.
And I would say this, like, and I know that because I've been around you now enough to know, like, that it is a really pure and good and wonderful light. You truly are like a um just a lighted soul. And so I get why somebody would be pretty pissed off that they don't have access.
Well, thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
what you being able to accomplish, given what who you're able to be, how you're able to show up in this world, the light that you give, how creative you are, um, I think, intimidates people. I think it reflects back their own insecurities or failings on them. And I think there's very reactions to that of dismissal of participating in things that make them feel better because then it takes you down a notch. Um, and I will say that I think by destroying somebody that you're intimidated by or jealous of, you just end up destroying yourself when you could, if you, instead of, you could be part of their community, part of their world, learning from them, learning.
And so, um, I think a lot of people, because I've been told before, like I don't look like what I've been through.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
And so people just automatically assume like I've always been this person, and
Mhm.
we were talking about like my light. Like I know that I'm a light. And the reason why I know I'm a light is because I hate fighting. I hate conflict. I hate drama. That's why I stayed silent for so many years. And like I my whole life have just wanted to be held and loved and supported. That's all I've craved my entire life, right? And people abused that in me.
Took advantage of
They
it.
took advantage of it, and they weaponized it, and they they hated it when I like asked for it, right? And asked for it, and we asked for things in different ways.
Right. Without, we don't always just
But
ask.
yeah, we're not always aware of how we're asking this either. But it's also too like just when I wanted to be loving or fun or joyful or this or that. We talked about this last
Mhm.
time. People are like,
Mhm.
stop that.
Right.
Stop that. Like they hated
Yeah.
seeing that part of
Yeah.
me. And yeah, and so when people see that in me, it makes me happy.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
Mhm. I'm gonna hug the shit out of her. Turn this off.
Bring it.
And so I guess we'll end. How about this? How about we? Anything else you wanna say, or kind of feel like?
Nah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, this
well,
has definitely been a therapy session.
yeah, and I do want to say, like, so, like, when people are talking about very heavy things, and this is for me personally, I do kind of like I lose the present moment a little bit, and so it can, if this episode seemed like a little off track, it's because I'm processing and talking about some extremely difficult things that are like affecting my body and my brain, my
Yeah.
mind, my body.
This is a little. I mean, this topic was. We decided to talk about this topic because we saw the video of a woman getting shot in the face.
Mhm.
That is a horrendous, horrendous thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that horrendous event, you were able to draw parallels to your own life, which is also a horrendous thing to say. So, yeah, this is a little bit of a deep episode. And because it's a deep episode that involves a lot of complex, hard things, it's probably a little all over the place and scattered. So, I hope you guys can see the message we're trying to bring across in this is that, um, be with your people and show up with your people and for your communities, and they will show up for you.
Mhm.
And we reduce our vulnerability we reduce our own vulnerability by doing that, and we reduce the suffering of others when they are invulnerable. Um, be be that person. Be that person that shows up. Um, And one of the ways you can show up, we can kind of bring it back to the good of the shit sandwich
Oh, yeah.
is
Oh, well, real quick, the last thing
okay.
I did. So all this has been happening, and that's why I woke up this morning and I wrote the Substack
Yeah.
article. So if you don't follow me on Substack, it's under Black Belt Stilettos or What the Actual Jen.
Yep.
And I wrote,
And we'll put a link.
yeah,
Yeah.
my thoughts
Put
of the day
yeah.
on
Yeah,
there.
it's honestly, it's a really powerful piece. It was yeah, it was definitely not expecting to open my app and read that first thing this morning. I was like,
I don't think
"Wow."
anybody was.
And so that's another way to support Jen. Another way is we just drop T-shirts that
Mhm,
we find great joy in because they make us laugh, and
mhm.
um, they kind of. I think we're trying to send the message of to those people that have been disrespectful, hurtful, dismissive, um,
Manipulative,
manipulative, you know,
just
that
harmful in general.
harmful, and we all have them. We do not, you know, everybody has that person, a way of bringing a little bit of lightness and power back to yourself, by wearing those
Yeah, because
shirts.
we're done being nice. That's the thing. The people that are like super kind, super loving, super caring, they are usually the main targets, right? And because we want to see the good in people, we have empathy, we expect other people to have empathy and they don't. And we end up in these situations where we're being taken advantage of, we're being hurt, we're being harmed, our feelings are getting hurt. Like, it's time for us to stop being so nice to the people who are harming us.
Yep.
Be nice to the people who
But
are, you know,
be in community with the people who are in community for you.
yes, but if somebody harms you, fuck that guy,
Fuck that guy.
right? I mean, that's it. I mean, that's it. And that's where I'm at. Like I'm sick of being the bigger person. I'm sick of staying quiet. I'm sick of trying to keep the peace because it almost got me killed. So here we are. Here we are. Yeah. All right. We're gonna go hug it out.